Hey, Slippery Rock Alliance Church friends and family, it's Pastor Chris. I'm coming at you with another devotion from James 2. And today we're going to be looking at how faith and works go together. And some of our earlier videos, if you haven't checked those out, I encourage you to go back and watch them, talked about how James is concerned with a transformed heart. He wants to see people who are growing in their walks with Jesus, people that are growing spiritually. And so today we're going to learn that the fruit of faith is spiritual transformation, which makes me ask this question. What is the fruit of faith? It's also been asked whether or not faith alone is the thing that saves us, or if it is faith and works that saves us. Well, I think James is going to answer that question for us in verses 14 to 17, but understand that this video is actually part one of two parts, which will be covered in the next video as we look at 18 through 26. So just be aware that this video doesn't stand alone. But let's jump into this starting in verse 14. This is what James says. He says, "What good is it, my brothers, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can that faith save him?" You see, James is asking a question, and the question is rhetorical. He's saying, is it of any good if somebody has faith but there are no works to accompany his faith? And then he asks the question, is that saving faith? And what I learn here in this part of the passage is that faith and works must both be in the minds of Christians. That we should be concerned about faith in Jesus and about works that we do in our Christian life. But then we go on into verse 15 and he says this. "If a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says to them, 'Go in peace, be warmed and filled,' without giving them the things needed for the body, what good is that?" So now he's giving us an example here that there is somebody who has a need, and we just bless them without actually helping them. And the question he asks is, what good is it? Well, this is also a rhetorical question, and the answer to this rhetorical question is it's not really of any good for the person who has a need. And so what I learn here is that failure to live out your faith is wrong. But this hasn't actually answered the question, is it faith alone or is it by works? Well, now we need to look at verse 17. He says this, he says, "So faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead." Now it's important to understand what he doesn't actually say here. He doesn't actually tell us that works are the thing that saves us. Instead, he says this. He says that faith that doesn't bear fruit is not faith. Because if it is dead, then it is not real, true, living, authentic faith. So there are a few ways I would encourage you to think as a result of what we've heard here. The first way I would challenge you to think is that faith in Jesus saves. It's clear throughout the Bible. Paul says in Ephesians that it is on the basis of faith, not works, that we are saved. However, what James is teaching us here is that genuine faith bears fruit. And the third thing that I think we should understand is that works are the result of genuine faith, not the opposite. So it is your faith that saves. But the fruit of a walk with Jesus and salvation through Him and a transformed heart is that we would respond with deeds that fall in line with the salvation that we have received. Christians, of course, are saved by their faith, but they must also then move into a life that reciprocates that faith, because God wants us to live out our faith. I hope you guys are having a great week. Tune in tomorrow for part 2 of this discussion. If you liked this video, give it a like below. Take care. We'll see you later.